were you guys talking about before I interrupted?
We were talking about 2024 and what we think is going to happen, and we're sort of positing the thesis that Democrats are so wildly out of tune with the American public right now that Republicans look pretty good, but they could make the mistake of taking their eye off the ball, which brought up the inevitable T word, right? Of course, which is Trump and whether he runs.
Oh yeah. I think so, but isn't it starting to feel like DeSantis might be?
Your mouth to God's ears, my friend.
I will say that Trump saying, I think just this last week, that his health would be a factor in making the decision is the first time that he said anything that in any way left him an out not to run.
Yeah.
And in many ways, he has a lot to lose.
I agree.
If he runs. There's always going to be an asterisk beside his 2020 loss. If he were to run and lose in 2024, you remove the asterisk. And so,
and all the prosecutions that they're threatening with is clearly political.
Now that makes me want him to run. Like keep playing dirty.
No, I don't think so, because I think that he could actually be hurt financially by those if he runs. If he doesn't run, they won't. I have this sense, everybody keeps telling me I'm wrong. Everybody who knows Trump tells me I'm wrong. I have this sense he's not going to run, that he's staying relevant. He's raising money off his, the hints that he's going to run. But I just don't think there's enough in it for him. And he's old.
Well, I always like to tell you you're wrong. So.
No.
To your point, Drew, that the prosecutions could hurt him, that this is the problem, that the powers that be are powerful.
Yes,
and they
yes.
can actually wield that power and really hurt you.
But why is DeSantis not in the same vein as Trump?
Well, he doesn't run if Trump runs, I think.
I think I'm beginning to doubt that's true.
Really?
I'm beginning to doubt that's true. And the reason that I'm beginning to doubt that's true is because I think that what DeSantis, like most good politicians, understands is there is a time.
Yeah.
Right. This is something that Jeremy and I have discussed a bunch of times before, which is that there are certain politicians where it's like if they had grabbed the moment, it would have been their moment. And if they miss the moment, they're toast. And this happened with, for example, Elizabeth Warren in 2016. If she had jumped in 2016 and not let Hillary Clinton foreclose her, she would have been the Bernie figure in that race, and she would have stolen a lot of thunder from Hillary Clinton being the first presidential woman nominee.
Chris Christie in 2012.
Right, Chris Christie in 20. Like there are certain periods where if you go for the brass ring and you grab at it, it's your moment. And then if you miss it, it's just gone.
And also the other thing is, I think DeSantis understands that in the primary in 2016, Republicans running against Trump, they either just ignored him and didn't attack him at all, which was a mistake, or they attacked him basically from the left, and they said that, well, I don't like his attitude. It makes me uncomfortable. I think Trump is vulnerable, and what DeSantis probably understands, although I don't know him, is that if you can go at Trump from the right, and you can say, you can hit Trump on vaccines, you can hit him on Fauci, you can hit him on COVID, and I think...
Yeah. I actually think the best path for DeSantis, as you said, we're still 2 years away from this, but if DeSantis were to choose to challenge Trump, I actually think his best path is not to hit Trump. I think his best path is essentially to say, Mr. President, I voted for you. There's no question in my mind that you are the man we needed in 2016. The question is, are you the man that we need in 2020?
But Trump's not going to allow that.
Right.
That's what they tried in 2016, and then eventually Trump will turn around and
call
go after you,
and
you're right. You're just sitting there. You're not prepared for it. So I think you have to be more proactive. You don't have to be obsessive about it, but
I agree with you that
from the right.
I agree with you that a lot of Trump's appeal in 2016, because I felt this way when he was debating Jeb Bush, is that he just kept pummeling the guy who was more to the center. And Jeb Bush would be like, I'm really uncomfortable with how you talk about illegal immigration. And Trump would be like, you're stupid. Like, yeah! And there's a lot of that.
I feel like I have a different perspective from you guys because, for one, look how I'm dressed compared to you guys. I do think, in all honesty, though, I come from kind of a different world. I grew up in Chicago, and I didn't vote for Trump in 2016. I don't think everybody here did. Did you guys?
No, I did not.
I did.
I did not vote for either.
In 2020, I've just been seeing over the past decade what I would describe as the left being so unreasonable and just out of their minds. I'm sitting with a group of prominent conservatives, and this is not how I grew up. Yep. I grew up in Chicago, surrounded by Democrats. And now I'm looking at 2024, and I would vote for DeSantis. I didn't like Trump in 2016. I voted for him because I know Biden, because I knew the Obama administration.
You voted for him in 2020.
2020, sorry.
Yeah.
In 2020, I voted for Trump. I liked that he didn't start new wars. I liked the Abraham Accords. I liked school choice. And I did not like wokeness because I think it's an affront to all of the civil rights battles that have been fought. Now we see DeSantis in Florida, and everything he's doing speaks to me. Not everything, but a lot of it. So I don't know if I would vote for Trump. I didn't necessarily want to vote for him in the first place.
No. Well, this is, I think, the biggest issue for Trump, and that is that my theory of elections is that elections are oppositional, and whoever the election is a referendum on loses. So in 2016, the great myth that the media tried to create is that it was a referendum on Trump. And it was not a referendum on Trump. It was a referendum on Hillary Clinton. People looked at Hillary and they're like, I hate that lady. She's awful. She's garbage. And I don't know this Trump guy. He's real weird.
This is
and he
how
says dumb stuff, but I'll take a shot at it.
That's right. This
And
is
you
how
see this in
Trump
the
can
polls.
get fewer votes in Wisconsin than did Mitt
Romney in
Romney 4 years
2012,
earlier.
that's right,
And still win
the state.
Wisconsin.
Correct.
Because the election was really about Hillary.
Right.
Democrats were
And
like,
And then by 2020, Joe Biden ran what for him was, I think, the only campaign he could run, but it turned out to be kind of a brilliant campaign, which is he just lay in a basement for 6 months. And every so often they would creak open the crypt, he'd walk out and say, and then he'd go back downstairs, and that would be the end of his campaign. And so the referendum was not on Biden, the referendum was on Trump. You go to 2024, if Trump runs again, the question is, I'm not sure who that's a referendum on. Is it on Biden or is it on Trump? Right? That's a real question, because they're now really, really prominent figures. If it's anybody but Trump, it's hard for it not to be a referendum on Biden. He's been president for the last 4 years, and he's done. I'm honest to God, I'm amazed he's been able to set this many things on fire for a man who's not ambulatory.
There's a tactic DeSantis is using, a rhetorical tactic that I think every Republican needs to adopt. The old Republican view of things, when they were asked a question, what do you want for breakfast in the morning? Let's say, hey, Senator Rand Paul, what do you want for breakfast? You'd say, well, some people want omelets and some people want pancakes. And the great thing about America is we can have whatever we want for breakfast, right? And it's this very sort of ambiguous thing. And you ask DeSantis, what do you want for breakfast? He goes, look, we tried pancakes in Arkansas, and we tried omelets, and we're going to have scrambled eggs. Scrambled eggs work in Florida, and they're going to work throughout America. Okay? And there's no question or ambiguity. It's very persuasive.